guys? Zach over from Iron Valley Barbell, and I'm going to be taking you guys through the most effective way to set up on the flat bench press. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to effectively utilize your traps in the flat bench press, how to engage your lats, how to save strain on your shoulders, breathing techniques, feet placement, hand placement, recommended gear to wear, and everything in between. Now this is going to slightly vary depending on the size of the athlete and the frame of the athlete, but the setup can be used for dang near everybody when they're setting up on the flat bench press. All right, Jay's going to get set up. So the first thing Jay's doing when he's setting up right here, you see him going back and forth, and he has himself elevated. I call this walking up the bench. Go ahead, Jay, just keep walking the bench, do it again. And now Jay's walking backwards. What he's doing here is trying to tuck his traps into the bench. Boom, he's tucking his traps in the bench. By doing so, he's both creating a stopping block with his traps, so wherever he uses leg drive, off of his chest. So he's pushing that bar off his chest, utilizing his legs, it's going to have his traps are going to be a stopping block. He's going to have something to push into. So he's thinking when he pushes that leg drive back into those traps, so if you're thinking this is leg drive, this is the traps, he's pushing the leg drive back into the traps, kicking the bar up. So be here, go put your legs down, Jay. Let's just quickly demonstrate this. Drop the legs down real quick. Now he's going to don't do nothing yet. He's going to be pushing and shifting the leg drive. So the bar touches the step and shifting leg drive back. Shifting leg drive back. So if you feel yourself sliding on the bench, we do have a quick tip for you guys. If you're sliding on the bench, let's go ahead and just jump into that real quick. We're going to add 2 bands to the bench, and you can get these bands on Elite FTS or West Side. 2 fairly large bands to the bench press. This is going to help the athlete from sliding on the bench press whenever he's shifting that leg drive back. Now this is a competition bench, so this bench itself, you don't typically slide much on, but if you're at a commercial gym, you're probably going to need to add some bands to it. And like I said, you can get these bands online. Go ahead, Jay, sit back up again. His traps into the bench, digging, digging, digging. Standing up this way is going to allow him to effectively get the most out of that upper back arch. So we're trying to arch in the upper back, not the lower back. After all, the bar doesn't touch the belly, the bar touches the sternum. So we're trying to force our sternum, as Jay is right here. The sternum is in the highest position, not his belly, rather his sternum is in the highest position. And this right here is where we're taking the bar. Next thing I want you to notice that his hips are higher than his knees. Every single time we're setting up to effectively make sure we're getting the most leg drive possible, we're always trying to force our hips to be higher than our knees. The goal is to get our feet back as far as we possibly can, creating as much tension as you possibly can on the quads while still having your heels on the ground. You're gonna see some guys bench on the balls of their feet, their toes. That's okay. I see a lot of great benchers benching on the balls of their feet, but what tends to happen is when the weight gets heavy, their legs start to shake. If I'm noticing their legs shaking, that means you're losing stability, and you're also probably not getting the most out of your legs if your legs are shaking. So you're not producing the most force output compared to if you had your heels on the ground. Now, if you have a bench that's lower to the ground, such as a commercial bench, you might want to go ahead and add some 10s and put them underneath the feet of the bench, but that's going to elevate the bench about, an inch. Half inch to an inch, and then put some dumbbells behind it. So when you do shift that leg drive, you don't slide back. Just a quick trick to the trade. So from here, now he's tucking his traps into the bench. In doing so, he's creating a stopping block for wherever he shifts that leg drive back. But also, he's alleviating pressure from the shoulders. He's tucking his shoulders into the bench. He's gonna grab a hold of that bar, put his feet down on the ground now. He's gonna take his elbows now facing towards me. Now his elbows are facing towards me. I can grab a hold of Jay's lats, and Jay's lats are loaded. So we're trying to alleviate this strain from the shoulders. So right now, I don't even feel his shoulders. Go ahead and squeeze that bar, stays, can't get ready. Press. His shoulders aren't undergoing much of the load, taking care of much of the load. Rather, the lats are taking more of the load. From this position here, Jay's gonna take his elbows and slightly externally rotate, so he's gonna load those lats. These are actually, he's pulling that bar apart. Again, load the lats. Notice that the bar is at the end of the rack. This is extremely important. There's no sense, remember lifting is a game of inches. There's no sense of lifting this bar an extra inch that you don't have to lift, or making hand placement and how you want to grip the bar. We want to focus on putting the meat, go ahead and sit up, Jay, let's go ahead and demonstrate this. We want to focus on putting the meat of your palm around the bar. So you want to make sure that bar is resting right in the meat of your palm. And you want your wrist not to be 100% straight, because what happens is when your wrists are 100% straight, I see a lot of guys coaching the bench press to have your lift 100% straight. And when you throw a punch, your wrist is obviously straight. But in this position, you're loading the shoulders. So if I go ahead and grab a hold of Jay, and he's in this position right here, and I push back, where do you feel that? I'm going to squash right here to the shoulders, boom, right? To where if he go and slightly opens his wrist up slightly, and all that pressure now goes into the palm. If you draw a straight line down into, boom, it's gonna go right into his lats. And if I grab and push here, where do you feel it load? In your shoulders, in your lats. So literally just one quick test. You can just grab your workout partner, have him squeeze just like this, push straight, where that pressure goes, into the shoulder, have him slightly bend his wrist, again, then push again, boom, where's that pressure go? Into the lats. So you can do a quick assessment of yourself right now while watching this video to see where that pressure is gonna go. We wanna load the lats. The lats is a huge muscle in the back, and we wanna think of the press as we're trying to utilize our lats, using the lats as a shelf, stopping block, boom, for our triceps as we're tucking our elbows to the side, tight, 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 and exploding through as if it's a rubber band, pulling back and exploding through. All right, Jay, go and lay down. On the palm of his hand, right in the meat of his hand, he's squeezing that bar as tight as he can. Notice he's not taking a false grip. He has his thumb wrapped all the way around to ensure he's getting as tight as he possibly can. His shoulders are tucked into the bench. He's externally rotating. His hips are higher than his knees. Now when I grab hold of Jay, his quads are already loaded. So his quads are already going to be taking some of the pressure off that bar as soon as he unracks it. Go ahead and unrack it, Jay. Jay unracks, he's going to take that bar all the way out over top of his sternum. The bar path down should be 100% straight down, and then pressing slightly back. Notice his elbows are slightly tucked to the side. Jay tucks slightly to the side, boom, engaging those lats, shifting the weight back. Notice too, all this pressure and all this energy looks as if it's going this way, because when we shift, we're not shifting our leg drive up, we're shifting leg drive back. Now let's talk real quick about breathing and how to breathe effectively whenever we're pressing, especially to get the most weight out of the lift. A lot of theories are going to tell you, as you're going down, how's that go? Breathe in as you go down, right, and breathe out as you go up. But what happens is when you breathe out as you go up, you're going to lose your arch. So if you're here and you're going, your arch goes away. When our arch goes away, we're leaving our lower back and our back in general vulnerable to injury because we have a load over top of us and we keep our brace, the tightness, boom, we're bracing here. And when we brace too, abs, it's in the entire core. So when we're bracing, we're filling our core with air and sitting down, we're also protecting our spine. We want to keep our spine safe, especially through a max effort attempt. You should not be breathing until the weight is up, touching your chest. You shouldn't breathe while you're loaded until the bar is unracked. So let's go ahead and set it up until the bar is unracked. So Jay's setting up. Now I want you to over-exaggerate your breathing. Okay, so I'll take a big air in. Hold that air, unrack, set in position, start. Back, press, rack. That's his air out. Hold his air throughout the duration lift. When I bench 315 for 24 reps, I didn't breathe until the 20th rep. All right, guys, I want to talk a little bit about protective gear to wear whenever you're going flat bench press. What's up, guys? I want to show you some protective gear to wear whenever you're flat bench pressing. So I'd like to see you guys get some elbow and wrist wraps. So elbow sleeves, I get these from Slingshot. I found them to be the most effective elbow sleeves to wear. So I got Mark Bell's Slingshot sleeves. You can find them on, I think it's howmuchyoubench.net. And then for the wrist wraps, I wear Inzer wrist wraps. I've always wore these. The red and black ones you can find on Inzer.com. They've been the most effective for me, or any wrist wraps. But be sure to get this protective equipment. Leave your egos at the door. After all, we're trying to stay as long as we can in this game. It's not the athlete who's the strongest, the athlete who's able to outlast the iron the longest. So we want to avoid injuries and aches and pain. So leave your ego down, get yourself a pair of wrist wraps, elbow sleeves. Anytime you go over 70, 80%, or as needed, go and throw those elbow and wrist wraps on. All right, guys, that's how to effectively set up on the flat bench press to get the most out of it. I want to say thank you to my homeboy Jay_Azeltine. You can find him on Instagram for the help today. And yeah, tune back in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a homie.